Good morning and welcome to the Daily Cyber Briefing for Wednesday, the 23rd of April. I'm Stephen Ridgway. Okay, so Marks and Spencer's has confirmed that they are suffering from a cyber attack. Investigations are ongoing, but stores are remaining open for the moment. So this is kind of late breaking from yesterday. But it does appear that M&S has suffered from a cyber incident. They're saying it's caused minor disruptions to store operations over the last few days. The NCSC is involved, and M&S who've engaged with external cyber support in order to address this, and as I'm sure are unsurprised to hear, M&S cybersecurity is really not a bad. They're not a bad bunch. So expect them to be doing some pretty decent work trying to recover from this. Reason that this I think is important is because there has been an uptick in attempts to compromise retail organizations, especially large prestigious retail organizations. And we've got to bear in mind that over the last few years, there have been some very significant breaches that have had quite a significant knock-on. Bearing in mind that a retail organisation like M&S, as with all others, they'll be holding all sorts of information about customers, right the way down to payment cards and so on and so forth that may well have been stored. No evidence at the moment that any of this stuff has leaked or been stolen. However, worth keeping an eye out if you're UK based and you've used the M&S website. Be aware, be vigilant, especially based around the potential for targeted phishing attempts. If you are a known customer of M&S, it helps the attackers to tailor their phishing emails at you, so on and so forth. Also, bearing in mind that there is also the potential for card data and so on. As I say, there's no evidence at the moment. Don't panic. However, just be vigilant. Keep an eye out. Unusual transactions, attempts to use your card on things that you wouldn't expect. You should keep an eye out for this stuff over the next few days, weeks, months, just in case. So yeah, be aware. Also in the arena of people having a bad time, the Manchester Credit Union appears to have been compromised by a ransomware group known as Sarcoma. So a Manchester Credit Union offers financial services to around something in the region of 30,000 people in and around the northeast of the UK. Excuse me. The Sarcoma group is a relatively new ransomware group, first seen in October last year, and does appear to have been reasonably successful in its attacks on various organisations, not just UK finance, but much broader than that. So not a great deal of information at the moment. MCU says that no ransom demand has been received, but Sarcoma's listed the firm on its leak site and threatened to auction stolen data if payment isn't made. Okay, so there appears to be a bit of a disjoint there. It sounds like some servers have been wiped, and there's been a certain amount of downtime as a consequence of this. Forensics are ongoing, but wiped servers does mean forensics can be somewhat difficult to undertake. So if you are in the northeast of England, and if you do use Manchester Credit Union services, you may already be aware. If not, again, usual stuff. Keep an eye out for targeted phishing attempts, and keep an eye out for unusual financial transactions or attempted transactions. Okay, and then finally from me today, you may remember that over the last couple of years we've been loosely following Google's attempts to get rid of cookies. Well, it does appear that Google has had another setback in this arena. So the background to the story is we're all aware of the fact that accepting cookies on a website gives the website owner the ability to track you across the internet in various sorts of ways. I'm not going to go into how all that works. You can look it up, probably already know. But they are somewhat problematic. And there are still issues regarding privacy and the use of cookies and trackers and so on and so forth. Well, Google came up with a sandbox solution to this as an alternative to third-party tracking cookies, which probably helped address some of the challenges around what happens to third-party cookies, but it did give Google a great deal of information about individual users. Now, you can argue whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. However, it appears that threatened with changes in regulation globally. There's a lot of countries have been looking into this kind of issue, changing the regulatory landscape. It now looks like using Google Chrome's privacy sandbox could be considered by regulators to be an unfair monopoly over information used to drive advertising. Consequently, Google has been quietly rolling back or rowing back on its various attempts to get rid of third-party cookies. First of all, the idea was they were just going to say we're not going to. Google Chrome will no longer work with third-party cookies, and then it's moved on to, well, okay, well, we'll offer you this, we'll offer you that, well, perhaps we'll just give you. And what they've ended up with now is they're not getting rid of the privacy sandbox, but they're going to give you an option. So, as a user, you can continue to accept third-party cookies, or you can look to migrate to Google's own solution. Now, whether Google's solution requires web designers to or developers to change the way that things work, I don't know, but I suspect it does, in which case these changes are unlikely then to drive a wholesale movement away from third-party cookies to privacy sandbox. Users, in my experience, just don't have the time or energy to work out what's really going on, and if something's worked in the past and will continue to work in the future, they'll stick with it just because changing is where's the tangible benefit? So that's all from me for today. I hope you have a good